Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held a meeting on Monday with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Finance Mohammed Maid, with the attendance of Finance Minister's deputies. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said that the meeting tackled the progress report of a number of development projects of the Finance Ministry, where Maid reviewed measures carried out by Customs Department to reduce customs release time and the new data system for charges which was applied since last April. In this regard, President al-Sisi directed to continue accelerating customs release time to reach the international rates through implementing mechanisms and upgrading systems for the customs process according to the planned schedule. The minister reviewed developments of upgrading the taxes system through its first phase, which was launched last January and included measures of dealing with finances. Radi added that the meeting discussed results of the final review of the International Monetary Fund and the government at experts level, and measures of developing the domestic products as well as the increase of economic growth rates. In this context, the President instructed to enhance the role of the private sector as an important partner in the country's economic progress during the coming period. On the 8th of June 2014, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was sworn in. During his 7 years in office, al-Sisi took major steps towards turning Egypt into a modern state. Under his leadership, many housing and infrastructure projects were implemented, including the fourth-generation cities. Under the social housing project, 414,000 housing units were established at a cost of £51 billion.
Years after President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi assumed leadership of Egypt, the country has made leaps towards becoming a modern state with clear reforms in the economy and major upgrade in the standard of living of citizens. The mega national projects covered all sectors: the infrastructure, agriculture, health and education. The state made structural reforms that included all institutions. In the field of housing and infrastructure, many projects were carried out. The social housing of youth and low-income brackets, 414,000 housing units have been completed at a cost of 51 billion Egyptian pounds, 38% of which are in the governorates, while another 194,000 units are under construction at a cost of 37 billion Egyptian pounds. Dar Masr Medium Housing Project, 41,424 units have been completed at a cost of 3 billion Egyptian pounds, while 15,480 other units are under construction at a cost of 4.6 billion Egyptian pounds. Jannah Luxury Housing Project, 4,032 units have been completed at a cost of 1.6 billion Egyptian pounds, while another 6,248 units are under construction at a cost of 14.5 billion pounds. Second Masr Medium Housing Project, 2,232 units have been completed at a cost of 670 million Egyptian pounds, while another 67,696 units are under construction at a cost of 20.3 billion Egyptian pounds, providing 328,000 plots of land for different segments of society: social housing project, luxury housing project, more luxurious housing projects. Within the framework of partnership with the private sector, 17 projects will be implemented with an area of 19,250 acres with a total investment of 500 billion Egyptian pounds. To upgrade the drinking water services, 295 projects have been completed at a cost of 38.5 billion Egyptian pounds, and 62 projects are under construction at a cost of 8.3 billion Egyptian pounds. Meanwhile, as part of efforts to improve roads, 2,345 kilometers of roads have been implemented at a cost of 13 billion Egyptian pounds, and 150 kilometers of roads are under construction at a cost of 3 billion Egyptian pounds. The new administrative capital is now being established to be the first fourth-generation city. Egypt will transfer between 50,000 and 53,000 public servants to the new headquarters of the government bodies in the new administrative capital at the end of August 2021. The Administrative Capital for Urban Development, ACUD, spokesperson said the old headquarters of governmental bodies in Cairo and Giza will be subjected to Egypt's sovereign fund. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has laid the first stone of the new administrative capital in East Cairo on July 14, 2018. With an area of 170,000 faddans, the new capital will include 20 residential areas expected to accommodate 6.5 million people and a road network of 650 kilometers in length. The capital will include an international airport and an electric train to link it with the 10th of Ramadan and El Salam cities. It will feature 1,250 mosques and churches, a 5,000-seat conference center, nearly 2,000 schools and colleges, over 600 medical facilities, and a park that is projected to be the world's largest. The new administrative capital is located in the area between the Cairo-Suez and Cairo-Ain Sokhna roads, east of the regional ring road. This is roughly 60 kilometers from the cities of Suez and Ain Sokhna. New city of El Alamein is also under construction. It is one of the most important cities on the Mediterranean Sea. It is located in northwest Egypt, inaugurated by Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on the 1st of March 2018. New Alamein lies on the Mediterranean Sea, approximately 85 kilometers west of Burj Al Arab International Airport. Still under construction, New Alamein will be a center for tourism, education, and government. The city has its own presidential palace and ministry building. Construction is ongoing at New Alamein for 3 universities, 15 skyscrapers, and high-rise towers, and 10,000 hotel rooms.
Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting on Monday to follow up on the implementation of projects carried out by the new Urban Communities Authority. The meeting covered progress achieved in the projects in different areas of the country and the fund provided for those projects. The meeting also tackled preparations for launching new projects as directed by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The progress in the Maspero Triangle and the fourth-generation cities was also discussed. Egypt received 500,000 doses of China's Sinovac coronavirus vaccine on Monday. Egypt received raw materials for the production of 2 million Sinovac doses in May after signing an agreement to produce the vaccine locally and distribute it in Egypt and other African countries. Health Minister Hedda Zaid has announced that the first vials are due to be produced on June 15th, and up to 6 weeks will be needed for checks before they are put into use in vaccination centers. Egypt expects raw materials for a further 4.2 million Sinovac doses this month and aims to produce 40 million doses this year. Egypt, which has received several million AstraZeneca and Sinopharm doses, has said it aims to vaccinate 40% of its population by the end of 2021. The coronavirus pandemic has killed at least 3.7 million people worldwide since the virus first emerged in December 2019. The U.S. is the worst affected country, followed by Brazil, India, Mexico, Peru, and Britain. Meanwhile, India revised vaccination policy as the nation of 1.3 billion people was hit by a massive coronavirus surge with record-breaking infections and deaths in April and May. Countries with the most new deaths were India, followed by Brazil and Colombia. Meanwhile, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Indian federal government would provide COVID-19 vaccines free of charge to all adults from later this month in an effort to turn the tide of a pandemic that has killed hundreds of thousands in India. India's capital, New Delhi, and financial hub, Mumbai, began a gradual easing of restrictions on Monday as coronavirus infections in the country fell to a 2-month low. Hospitals in the cities were overwhelmed by a deadly COVID-19 wave in April and May, with severe shortages of oxygen and other critical medicines. The huge spike saw India report record-breaking numbers of cases and deaths to become the second worst-hit nation after the United States, with just under 29 million infections. Authorities in Delhi and Mumbai, as well as other cities and states, had imposed restrictions on movement and activities to combat the surge. In Australia's Victoria state, authorities reported its biggest daily rise in COVID-19 cases in nearly a week, and Taiwan said it would extend curbs until June 28th, while hundreds of former leaders urged the group of 7 rich nations to pay for global vaccinations. Malta registered no new cases for the first time in 11 months, but the Mediterranean island's health minister urged people to remain careful to prevent any resurgence. British Health Minister Matt Hancock said it was too early to say whether the government would stick to its plan to fully lift lockdown restrictions in England on June 21st. Egypt condemned on Monday a terrorist attack on a checkpoint in the southern Libyan city of Sabha on Sunday, in which 2 Libyan officers were killed and 4 others were wounded. Egypt extended its deepest condolences to the Libyan people and government and wished the injured a speedy recovery. Egypt also expressed its full support to Libya against plots to undermine its security and stability. It expressed backing to Libya in efforts to combat all forms of terrorism and extremism. A security source in Sabha said the blast was caused by a suicide bomber who detonated a car bomb. Daesh terrorist group claimed responsibility for the attack. U.S.